All right, everybody, welcome back to the Hunting Overtime podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Bryan.
And I'm Eric.
And we have with us a good buddy of ours, Chad McKinney, on the phone here. What's up, Chad?
What's up, fellas?
You finished done mounting down that elk steak or what?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yes,
he's ready to go. He was holding us back. We weren't ready to start because he was mounting down this steak after working outside in 90-degree weather. So we are here, actually. This is a pretty exciting podcast for us. This is the first time for Hunting Overtime followers and the season's media followers to hear kind of about, Chad, what you and I and your brother have planned for this fall. It's going to be... Oh! Sorry, just spilled my whiskey. Gosh dang it. What a waste. You wouldn't even know that was my first one. It made it look like I've had 5. Anyways, we have probably the most adventurous hunt we've ever been on. Well, without a doubt. There's no question. Without a doubt, the most adventurous hunt we've ever been on. And it's going to be a thriller, and I think we're going to have a fantastic time. We're going to learn a lot. We're going to have a great experience. Hopefully come back all on a positive note, but I'm sure some things are not going to go our way because this trip's going to be to Alaska, and we are going to be doing a float moose hunt, and we're going to have 3 tags, which is going to be a tall order for us to fill, but we're up for it, and we're ready to put in some time and bust our butts up there and see what it's all about. So Chad, I was going to send it to you earlier today when I found it, but I actually decided to hold it till this. I saw a picture on social media, and it said, never go to Alaska when you're young because you'll be comparing everything else to it for the rest of your life. So I thought that was kind of funny. I was like, well, 32, 33 years old, that's probably pretty young to be really taking that adventure into Alaska and then having to compare everything the rest of our life. But
well, I guess that's a future podcast segue into we got a tall pecking order to start working through.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So, Chad, why don't you just go ahead and kick us off? So we kind of skipped through it, but if you could kind of just tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are. You've been on the podcast a couple other times, at least one other time, maybe 2. I can't remember. I know we did one in the vehicle one time.
Yeah.
But just kind of tell us about yourself, who you are, and maybe a little bit on how you and I kind of met and started hunting, because it actually took a while before we did much hunting together.
Yeah. That's awesome. Thanks. I really appreciate you guys having me back. It feels like forever ago that we were in Idaho trying to trudge through 10 inches of snow and looking at each other like we were crazy clowns. And so no, it's been fun. But yeah, as Bryan said, we were college roommates almost 15 years ago now, up at Chadron State, and completely random that we were paired together. And I would say arguably one of my best friends, considering we're going on potentially a life-altering experience together. Yeah. To Alaska. But as Bryan mentioned, I played college football up there and didn't really have much time for hunting and the extracurricular. And then I guess it was probably almost 2 years after we were roommates before we rekindled the fire, if you will, through Facebook, and said, I think I invited you out to Wyoming for to tag along on an archery elk hunt.
Yeah, so I actually, when all those years, even when we went to Chadron and stuff, there was 2 years there, our freshman and our sophomore year, you begged me to go elk hunting Labor Day weekend, and I didn't do it. And hindsight being 2020, so dumb. I don't even know what I was thinking. I could have been into the elk game so much earlier and learned so much more about it already. But it was actually longer than that because I was living in Omaha. I will never forget living in Omaha, sitting on my couch when you messaged me on Facebook. Like, so it was actually like 4 years after we roomed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so.
That's how crazy the last 15 years has just flown by.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
But yeah, I invited you out for Labor Day once again, and I can't remember. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think you came last year because I had that special draw tag, but I don't think you've missed a Labor Day since that year.
Nope. I did come a week later with my brother, but so I was still out there, but I have not missed elk season since. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember why last year didn't work out for you to come Labor Day.
I don't really either.
Doesn't matter.
To be honest with you, yeah, because I talked about coming all the way up to your special tag unit.
Yeah.
I don't remember what happened. I think it was just being gone, and then I was taking time off that next week away from the family. To go with my brother, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. And then Brooke was doing some stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yep. But.
So that that's really sparked this. We have to figure out something every single year, which is what sparked our trip up to Idaho with Eric. Was that 22? April of 22, or is that 21?
It was 2 years ago.
It was 2 years ago. It was
which is crazy.
Yeah, so it would have been 21. No.
That's nuts.
Yeah, 21.
Yeah, because it wasn't last year.
No, it was 22. It was 22.
It's only been a year? I thought it'd been 2.
Well, it's been almost. It's almost
true.
the fall. It was spring of 22. Yeah. Because, yeah, because it would have been my first.
Regardless,
first
it's
year
turned into this.
And yeah.
Regardless, it's turned into this. We've got to figure out something to go somewhere because we love the adventure, and I had a great time in Idaho, and I've been thinking about going back, just timing it differently and
right.
Waiting a little bit longer.
A little early.
We'll back. Yeah. But turning it over to Alaska, a couple of years ago, I had some clients that went up there, and same thing. 2 brothers and a brother-in-law went up, and I asked them if you guys were to go back to Alaska, would you do it again? And if you would do it again, would you do the same thing? And if you would do the same thing, what would you change, if anything? And they floated 55 miles of river over the course of 10 days. And they said that 2 things that they would change would be shorten the amount of river length and get a beaver plane to be able to haul heavier weight and not have to pay for so many trips. So that really got me thinking. I've been wanting to moose hunt ever since I was a kid. When I was probably 6, 7, 8 years old, somewhere in there. My mom, my dad, and my grandpa went up to north central Wyoming, and my dad ended up shooting a moose. And then my grandpa and my uncle went 4 years ago, and they came home with 2 bulls. And I'm like, man, a moose has always been on my bucket list. How can I do this? I can't do it in Wyoming. They just changed the point thing. It's going to be a once-in-a-lifetime deal. And Alaska was the most, obviously, highest success rates. But for a do-it-yourself, be able to buy a tag over the counter, I mean, it was a no-brainer. So then I had to go back to the drawing board. Number one, whose wives are crazy enough to let their
right.
husbands go for 12 days? Right. I immediately thought of my brother, just because he's my brother and he'd be pissed if I went without him.
Right. Yeah.
So then I had to overcome my sister-in-law. And then I thought, well, I can't not ask Bryan. But with your new career path, going into administration, I didn't know if it was going to be reality. And then here we are. Little under, right 50 days to take off.
Oh, that's crazy, isn't it? What is the date today? Yeah,
July 10th.
Basically, exactly 50 days, yeah. Insane.
Yeah,
absolutely insane that it's come down to this. And it's, we still have some more planning we got to do. Some of the logistical things that I think about that we still have to do is we still got to get and finalize like what we're gonna do with meat to get home. I think the biggest path, I think you donate some and then you bring some. But there's some companies out there that in Anchorage there that can help us with that they actually do that. I don't know if I've shared any of that stuff with you or not, but
yeah, you have.
I think
I'd
that's
say the craziest part of this whole thing is just the amount of preparation and time that goes into this, especially for the state of Alaska.
yeah.
And that was one of the biggest things that they told me was don't delay anything, because these pilots up there, I mean, they're going every day, numerous trips, all of September, and make sure that you get your reservations. Did the dog get some whiskey?
Yep, I had to finish it off so she didn't get any more, or he didn't get any more.
So we've had deposits down since December of last year. So that'll be right at 9 months, almost 10 months that we've been had skin in the game with actual dollars on the line, and it became a lot more reality when we all bought our tags and
Finally
got our locking permits in the mail. And
the number of times Chad would text me, he'd be like, "Can we buy tags yet? Can we buy tags yet?" It's like, dude, no, I don't think we can buy them till almost July. Like, just
well, then I got nervous because I was talking to a friend of mine that she grew up in Alaska, and she got something in the mail like, you used to be a resident of Alaska, now you're a non-resident, and we're going away from an over-the-counter state that you can just buy permits. This is going to be the last year to do it, and I got nervous. And
that'll be interesting
here
to
we
see
are.
how that changes stuff, or what comes of that. That's because that's the first time I've heard that. But I mean, I don't keep track of it a whole lot. But
Right.
that'll be a game changer for a lot of people. Because I mean, I don't think a ton of guys go and do what we're about to do, but I think there's enough that it would change the game a lot if they went to all draw.
Yeah. I know a lot of guys are like, man, because I've told a lot of people that we're going, man, let me know how it goes. Let me know this, that, all the details, because I want to go. And it's like, do you really want to go, or do you just want to talk about going? Because this has consumed us.
Oh my
since
goodness.
December.
Yeah, ask my wife.
I mean, it's dinner table discussion. It's text messages.
Yep.
I mean, 6 days a week, if not 7.
Yep.
We thought about this. We thought about that. The logistics, like you said, is just insane. Especially trying to plan it, 2,000 miles away?
Yeah,
Or
for sure.
1,500
And
at least.
I mean, it started with, okay, you asked if I could go, and once we found out that everybody was going, hold on, my wife's texting me. Oh, okay, that can wait. It's okay. She's just telling me how much she loves me, and she's glad I'm leaving for Alaska. Anyways, it started with figuring out who was going to go. Once we knew who was going to go, then it came down to, okay, we're going to Alaska. Where do we go?
Yeah.
And I mean, that was plenty of the planning, and really what we found out is between you talking to those guys and just some research on, I mean, we got us a Go Hunt Insider membership, and I think that was huge. And really that just kind of, if I remember correctly, we kind of found the spot and then found out that was exactly where those guys had went, right?
Yeah.
Like we had
we found the unit.
Yep.
And I asked them what unit they went to, and that's exactly the one.
Yeah,
so
it was
basically throwing a dart at a dartboard and
Right.
getting really freaking lucky.
Yeah, and I mean, it started by, I mean, we wanted high odds, and originally you and I had talked about going with a bow, and finally what we decided is the odds there, they just don't work out in the units and stuff like that. And so the question was, okay, how set are we on a bow, or are we willing to hang the bow up and take a rifle and go to Alaska on a moose hunt, and have good odds? And if I'm going to Alaska on a moose hunt, I kind of want to kill a moose.
Yeah.
I want my odds to be as high as possible. So if I remember right, and this is just, I would have to double check again, but I think where we're going is almost 60% odds success.
Yeah.
And even though we haven't, and that's in that whole unit, that unit's huge, but even though we haven't necessarily hunted moose a ton, I'm confident in our skills, I guess, just as hunters. And I think we can push.
You know how it is.
I think
you know how it is, especially with Cole. We just go into straight kill mode.
I know.
You see something,
it's like it just go. So what? I guess what's the thing that you're most not necessarily worried about, but like your biggest question mark going into this? I guess that's. I have one.
My biggest thing is just the unknown of, I know that I'm underestimating the terrain of Alaska, and what we see here where it's like, hey, there's elk or deer on that ridge, and we know every single spine or every single shortcut to get there.
And we sprint.
Or, yeah. And we can make it there before dark or before they bed down. My biggest unknown is just seeing something through a spot and scope, and the country being so big that we have to plan basically an entire day in order to get to it.
Yep.
That's my biggest thing.
Yeah, and that's kind of where mine was at too. Is it, along with that is like getting, so the terrain and like what that marshiness is going to look like. You know, that the Alaska terrain, like you said, is so much different than what we're used to seeing and working in. And we did just recently get some good waders, because I mean it's looking like there's a pretty good chance that we spend almost 90% of our time in our waders.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's what my buddies told me, was they didn't hardly take them off.
Yeah. Because
it's just so wet that,
yep.
I mean, gaiters and even rain pants just don't cut it.
Yep.
You're just soaked, and I don't want to be soaked the whole time.
No, I think that's one thing that can really change a hunt, and we kind of prepared for that a little bit in Idaho too. We all took rain gear, and like the easiest way to ruin a hunt is to be wet the whole time.
Yeah.
But the biggest difference in Alaska is we ain't coming out.
No.
Like we're going in and we're not coming out for 10 days.
I know.
So
that is another huge thing is, I mean, in Idaho, we just hiked up a ridge from a road.
Yeah.
In Alaska, we're getting flown in and dropped off, and there's no way out.
No.
There's no hotel
until the 10th day.
Yeah, there's no hotel backup.
No, there's not. Or a quick run to town for a burger and a beer.
Dang, those burgers and beers are good though.
Oh man.
So
yeah.
Like that terrain there and what that looks like. Mostly wearing waders, probably.
Yeah.
And then I was trying to imagine carrying a 125-pound hindquarter, walking through the marsh in waders back to camp look like. Like,
yeah,
that's gonna be different.
Yeah.
Like we've carried hindquarters and stuff like that, but this is gonna be a different deal carrying those big things out.
Yeah, all the what we're used to with the downfall and going up over the top, we're gonna have all those little willow snakes in the grass that are tripping us at our ankles instead of tripping us at our knees.
Yep.
So
exactly. Your brother had asked, like, he said, worst case scenario, give me the worst weather case scenario, and you responded to it perfectly. You just said really rainy and really windy. And that's the kind of thing we got to be a little bit prepared for it. And I know a lot of the guys I've talked to that have been to Alaska, not necessarily on this hunt, kind of like you said, a lot of guys I talked to are like, oh my God, you're going on a float moose hunt in Alaska? Like, I want to go to that. Like, that's like a dream hunt for me.
Yeah.
A lot of guys don't end up doing
Everybody
it.
says.
Yeah. And
And to be honest, that's another way, or one of the ways that I got my brother to be so interested, because growing up in encampment where two rivers merge together, and all we've done since we were 12, 13, 15 years old is fish and float.
Yep.
To be able to couple that with a moose hunt,
Yep.
and he can fish too and float, like,
Yep.
the only thing he's not going to have is a cooler full of beer.
Oh, yeah.
We're not going to be able to pack it in there.
Yep. Yep. Shoot, I was just going to say something, but I don't remember. But anyways, I haven't told you this yet. And I told you I was going to learn to fly fish before we went. I did a lot of practicing today in the backyard. I think I'm good enough that I could get it out there. You don't know the best part, though? I don't know how to run a raft. We have 2 rafts. Those two both know how to run rafts. Guess who's fishing the whole way down the river?
All you do is point your nose at danger and pull back.
No, I don't know. You don't want me running a raft. Shoot. So.
I don't think I've told you this yet either, but some friends that I was in the Bow Hunters of Wyoming executive council with, she grew up just outside of Anchorage, and she said one thing is for certain that we cannot not take is fly nets for our heads, because the flies are going to be so bad.
I actually have one, and it's already packed.
Perfect.
Yep.
I need to get one ordered, because
I was going to mention
she said the bugs up there are so bad that you won't even be able to see straight.
Yeah. I actually bought mine when I went on that Wisconsin black bear hunt, because they warned us about it, but I didn't end up using it. But I just bought some El Cheapo off Amazon. It'll be just fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
You need to get those ordered.
Yeah, I think you can buy those for pretty cheap.
Yeah,
I might
absolutely.
actually bought mine at Cabela's now that I think about it. But.
And then the other thing she said was a Thermacell portable mosquito repellent. And then to wash all of our clothes, it's called Sawyer Marathon clothing and gear insectant repellent. It's basically laundry detergent that you wash all your clothes in.
Interesting. You should send me that link or the name.
Yeah,
of
I
it.
will.
So I'm actually getting all my stuff together right now. It's actually all laying downstairs in our spare bedroom. Brooke's comment was, so that's seriously going to sit there for a month and a half. It's like, well, yeah. Throwing stuff, all that stuff that I sent you that was needed to go in totes. Everything's in the tote already. Other than a few things that aren't here yet, they're in the mail. But so we're gonna.
Yeah, we need to figure out when you're gonna come to Cheyenne so we can get those totes shipped up to Anchorage.
Yeah, figure out how you can if you can talk to Cole and figure out how you can get his stuff. Or when you're going to get his stuff. I can kind of come whenever. I got to go back to work on the 26th, though, so.
He's coming to Cheyenne on Thursday the 27th. So he can bring all of it then. You can bring yours anytime before, and I can get it all packed up and shipped up there.
I don't know how long UPS takes to ship to Alaska.
I would imagine 30 days is enough.
I would hope.
Yeah,
I would hope, but yeah, I think our goal needs to be out of your place before July gets over, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Yep.
Yeah, I was actually looking on UPS stuff today. You can have up to 150 pound packages, so I don't think we'll be that heavy. But I got 2 good heavy duty totes, so.
Yeah, that's perfect. We'll just tape them up real good and even throw padlock or something on there if we have to.
Yeah, I think you just, how do you do that? Just tape them up real good. And
I read duct tape the crap out of it, like more than you think you need to.
I read a thing that said you had to put a heavy sticker on it.
Probably, they'll do it too.
Yeah, I'll just take it to the UPS store and have them seal it all up.
Yeah. Yep. Make sure it's done right and that it's going to get there, and that turned out kind of clutch that you happen to know somebody up there that's going to help us out so much. We got a place
I
to
know
ship stuff
that's
to,
awesome.
and the fact that she's gonna leave us help us out with the vehicle and stuff is, dude,
I
that's
didn't
a
even have to
game,
ask. She offered it. It's
that's such a
awesome.
game changer. I was talking to some guys a while back, and that was one thing where they're like, well, how are you gonna get around? And I'm like, well, I haven't really figured that out yet. Yeah, I just figured out today the person we're shipping all our stuff to is letting us use their car.
Seriously?
Like, how that's so
Yeah.
clutch.
Perfect.
That's so clutch.
Yeah.
So, what has been, if you had to pick one thing that you have purchased or are going to purchase that you think is the biggest game changer to your system going to Alaska, what is it? Or if you can't pick one, I'll give you two.
Well, I haven't showed it to you yet, but it did show up in the mail, and I got it all hooked up. That vinyl harness.
Looks so good without a shirt on, dude.
Yeah, no. The vinyl harness suspension pack that I was telling you about.
Oh yeah.
It like it's loose, but then you just take the side clips off the shoulder straps, and it clips right into the vinyl harness. But it's all one, so I don't have the extra straps. So that's one thing, because then I'll have the pistol, but then also too, obviously the pack. That though I'm more excited about for when we get back from Alaska, and just to have a new pack, especially with all the changes that these companies are continuing to make. I mean, I can keep going. My Stone Glacier rain gear, my new Sims waders.
Is that what you got for rain gear, Stone Glacier?
Yeah.
Do you remember what it's off the top of your head? Do you remember what it's called? What series it is? I don't know much about the Stone Glacier stuff.
Well, it's all still right here because I haven't undone it. The M5.
M5. I'll have to look at it and check it out.
Yeah, M5 pants and coat. And then I got the gloves they're like a thin rain glove. Because that was another thing that one of the guys that I talked to told me was when your arms are up and you're glassing, all the water that goes down in behind your raincoat and gets down into your elbow.
Yep.
He said make sure you get waterproof gloves that the cuff goes over your raincoat cuff.
I never thought of that.
Doesn't go down inside your coat jacket. So I got some of those. Also, but they also have an insulated mitt that goes on the inside too. So if it gets cold, the mitt comes out.
I think I've seen those. I think I have seen those.
Yeah, so I think I'm pretty excited about that for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome.
How about you? What are you looking for to most?
I think that my raincoat that I got as well. I got the First Light Omen. I didn't buy the pants because I had heard that you'll spend so much time in waders. So I decided I'm not even taking rain pants. I decided if it's raining, I'll just wear waders. But I think those waders are going to be huge. I think they're probably the most durable wader we could have ever got ourselves into.
Which waders?
Absolutely.
I don't think you ever told me.
There was the Sims G4.
Oh, yeah, you did tell me. Okay.
I think they're G5. They're the upgraded one. They're the newest one from Sims. Are they G4 or G5?
They're G4.
Yeah, G4Z.
G4Z.
They're the brand new ones from Sims. G3 is the one before.
Yep. And
so
they specifically say right on there, most durable they make. I think you did a really good job of finding a good boot too, because that looks like the slimmest, most traction like wading boot that would
Yeah.
double as like kind of a hiking boot too, because some of those wading boots get pretty damn big.
Well, not only that, but they're so uncomfortable to hike in.
Yeah.
And so they're called the Flyweight Sims boot, but they're specific for backpack fly fishing trips.
Yeah, they got the Vibram soles on them, and
yeah, I don't want to have sore feet, and I don't want to be wet.
Yep.
For 95% of the time, because that's miserable.
Yep. And there's a chance that 90% of the time that is wet. I know what I was going to say earlier when I lost my train of thought. Some of the guys I talked to that have been there have talked about plan for a day where it's so bad you can't hunt. And he said, I know, he said, I've hunted some really nasty stuff, and that's really hard for some of us in the lower 50 to think about, that it's going to be so bad that we can't hunt. He said, because if it's wherever I'm elk hunting or whatever, if it's raining, I just go. Like, it doesn't matter. And we're kind of the same way. Like, weather doesn't really stop us from doing anything. But he says, but trust me, he goes, Alaska's different. He goes, your wet and rainy down here is not the same wet and rainy up there.
No.
So he talked about our choice to take an Alaskan guide rather than like solo tents. He thought that was a really good idea as well, just because for that exact reason. If you do happen to get cooped up, then we're there together. It's a big area, and we're not just like cooped in our own little tents by ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, think about when we were in Idaho and it was miserably snowing and cold, and we just crawled into our tents. And can't speak for you guys, but I ended up falling asleep because I was so bored.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And I mean, you have nothing else to do.
I'd have to throw a deck of cards in that tote.
That's probably a good idea. I'll throw a deck in, yeah. I don't really play much cards or know how to play many cards, but maybe you people can teach me.
Yeah. Might have to throw a flask in with some bullet bourbon, too.
Don't think I didn't think about it. I was thinking that we're at least going to need shooters or something for when we get a kill, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, like I told you before we clicked on the podcast, in addition to all of this logistic stuff, physically, I've been more excited about this hunt physically and just getting into shape so that my physical inability didn't hinder me. I am very much looking forward to having a blood beer over a moose. Right. Maybe not necessarily over the moose, but when we get back to Anchorage, I will be having a beer.
Yep. And it will be, that's the other part I was thinking about is when we get back to Anchorage, we're going to have, really we're going to be, assuming all the flights go well and everything like that, and they get us out when we plan and all that, which is also another big unknown, is whether they can fly and when they can get you and pick you up and stuff like that. But we'll have communication with our pilot. But anyways, just like we'll have just a little over 24 hours to get everything loaded up and ready to go.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're gonna have a ton of time. First, we're supposed to fly out around, I think it was 9 o'clock. I think they were supposed to pick us up around 9 on that day, on the 9th. Right? Yeah. I think that's right. And
that was another thing that those guys had said was going that far in terms of river miles was they felt like they constantly had to be moving camp.
Sure.
Going 55 miles a river. And so they said by cutting it in half, it'll give us more time to hunt in specific areas without feeling like we have to move to the next camp so quickly.
Yep.
So,
and we're going to go we're going to go about 30 miles is the plan, maybe just a hair over. But I really see, and we've kind of talked about this, at least going in, our intent is to spend most of the time, or at least a handful of time, at the very top, where we first start. And that's coming from, first of all, just looking on a map, seeing that that's kind of what looks like the best area. But second of all, just some intel from those guys, Yeah,
they said two things. They would shorten the trip and they would spend more time at the top because that's where they shot 2 of 3 within the first 2 days. And then they hunted hard for the next 8 days. They saw moose, but they were unhuntable because they were so far and the landscape was so big as the landscape opened up further downriver that it was a lot harder to get to them. It wasn't as tight as it was at the top. And then the amount of black bears that they saw, they had said, make sure you buy a black bear tag. So I think I'm the only one that ponied up and bought the black bear tag. You guys are too cheap.
That was going to be my next question. So what happens if you're floating the river and there's a moose at like 600 yards? Who's shooting first?
We got to come up with something.
Yeah, we do. We haven't really talked about that yet on how we're deciding who's shooting what or how that's going to work for sure. But
no.
Obviously, they'll be running the raft, so.
Good call. Good call.
So if we can get some steady water, no, maybe not.
Yeah.
Yards.
I'm willing to take the short straw since I am the youngest, and cop out of getting the first shot. So
wow.
I'll let you hash that one out.
I can run faster than him. Maybe we should do a foot race.
You've followed him when the bulls are bugling. He can get after it. He has to.
When stuff's going, I don't know. I do always.
He turns into a different animal when
it'll be
it gets hot.
Interesting. I remember elk hunting with him also, and him cussing us out because of our long legs. So I don't know. We can get cooking pretty good when we hear a bugle too, and our legs are about twice as long. So
yeah, not only that, but going up over the top of the willows with our long legs is going to be a little bit different than his getting stuck down in them.
Yep. Oh man, I remember for one hunt. For sure, I think it was 2 years ago. He was cussing us out. He was so mad at us.
I remember that.
You long-legged effers. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have some flight time. I'll have to think of a game I can come up with where I know I can beat him in.
There you go.
But oh shoot. What else to go along with it? Like you said, super stoked about the new XOK4. Very excited about that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've loaded your pack up with weight yet or not. Last I knew you hadn't, but
no, not anything significant.
I can tell you that the weight distribution is so much different than what we are used to. And you, Cole, and I actually all had the same pack. And
yeah.
We're all back in the same pack again. But I tell you what, the difference is, it's going to blow your mind. It really is.
Yeah. I am very excited about it because when I tried it on at the Western Hunt Expo in Salt Lake, they had them weighted down pretty heavy, and just walking around the expo, and that was on concrete.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awesome. I am really excited about it.
I do want to make sure before I go, I'll probably have to borrow your sandbag. I want to put 100 pounds in it. I've never put like over 100 pounds on my back. Like I've carried a lot of weight, 70 probably.
Yeah.
But I want to throw over 100 pounds in it and just, like, I don't want the first time I put over 100 pounds on my back to be when I got a moose quarter. You know what I mean? I don't want it to be that late. So get some sandbags in there and just throw it around for a little while, and because that'll be different for sure. I don't.
Yeah, I need to do the same.
I don't foresee us like in Idaho where we carried 50 pounds on our back the whole time. Like that's not happening. That's kind of the point of having the rafts. But
yeah, I mean, just like when you and I went on the shed hunt on a raft, we overestimated.
Oh yeah.
Like we didn't even really think about like how much we would leave in the raft.
Yep.
You basically leave everything in the raft.
Yeah.
and then you go on you hike with nothing on your back.
Yep.
So
This will be a little bit different. We'll have kill kits and guns, and
right.
I bought a what is it called? An Alps Outdoors. I bought a tarp. So I think that's something we'll probably want to take with us at all times, and it's multi-use. Whether it just forms in a triangle or you can cover the back if it's windy and stuff. Just I'd hate to get caught out there without it.
Yeah.
I actually considered taking my entire solo tent, just because we would have rafts and we have plenty of weight, honestly, with the planes and stuff that we're taking in. But I decided I got a couple rain flies that I'll take. I think we'll be all right. But yeah, we're really for a hunt like this. I mean, you get some guys go in, they have camp kitchens and stuff like that, and basically what we decided is that, hey, we're not going in to have a luxury time. Like, we're going in to hunt and kill moose. So if that means that we come back and we eat Mountain House for 9 days straight at night, then that's what we do. Like, no big deal to us, I guess. Well,
our guts are going to be hurting by the ninth day, but that's okay.
Look out, Anchorage.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I mean, but what we decided, I'm not going to spend all my time and energy cooking.
No.
I want mine to be fast and done. I want to eat it. I want to get my sleep, and I want to get up and I want to go hunting.
Yep.
That's why we're there. And I mean,
I think though the Jetboil frying pan is a must for a fish fillet or a moose backstrap when we get one on the ground.
For sure. Have you picked one of those up yet?
No, I haven't.
Okay. I got a spatula, but I don't know if they come with spatula or not, but I got those for Christmas, the whole Jetboil silverware, so they work pretty good. I didn't know if we maybe...
Yeah, I'll get something picked up.
Okay. Yeah, other than that, we got our locking tags, we got our licenses, we got our harvest permits. Oh, one thing we do have to get, and I haven't even mentioned this to you guys yet, we are going to float through an area that is tribal land, and we have to pick up a different harvest permit.
Okay.
I believe it's free, but I'll have to get you that info. I haven't done it yet, but
okay.
Towards the end there, we're going to float through some tribal land on one side, and it doesn't change what we can. That specific land does not change. You got to be careful in Alaska because some of that tribal land you can't hunt. I called up there, and this land we can hunt. We just need a different harvest permit.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah, get that and send it to us.
Yeah, we don't want to end up floating through there and seeing a 60-inch bull. And
yeah. I am counting down the days. It's crazy how close it is. I mean, it's hunting season's right around the corner. I mean, 35 days, August 15th, and shit starts opening up. So
yeah, it's wild.
I'm excited for the fall.
It's wild.
Yep.
Are you hunting Nebraska moose this year, Eric?
Oh, yeah. I wish. I'll be pouting. I'll be waiting for Zolio messages.
Yeah, well, I'll have to make it, yeah. We have too many married guys going with us. I can't make you an emergency contact to give you update GPS points, but we'll be able to text you.
Andy won't care. You can have Andy's spot. She won't care.
I should probably go ahead and get that set up too.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, I'll be sending you messages. You'll get.
I think I still have it.
Pulled down.
I think I still have it downloaded on my phone from when we went to Idaho. That app that we use. So.
Oh yeah. Yep.
That'd be great.
Yep. Yep. That Zolio is a pretty neat deal. We'll use it to communicate. I don't know if I think I had told you this, Chad. Our bush pilot that's dropping us off, or dropping me off first and then coming to get you guys. He did also tell me that if we need him halfway through the hunt, if he's got to come in and get anything, like come in and get a bowl or two, or to be able to message him, he should be available. So that'll be something for us to think about. Obviously, the catch there is you pay for it.
It might be worth it though.
But
Do we
I mean,
pay for it, or do we run the risk of one, losing it, but also two? That was another thing I was thinking about today is the CFS flows of the river.
Yeah.
Like with all of our gear and our weight in it, add a moose or even two moose in addition to that.
Right.
Is the river going to be high enough and have enough water that we're just going to or are there going to be some sandbars that we're going to have to port across or carry shit across?
Yeah, that would not be fun.
No, not especially with two moose.
Yeah.
So that's going to be clutch.
Yep.
To get him in and out of there.
Yep. So we'll have to communicate there. Hopefully we can get one down up top and he can fly right into where he dropped us, maybe, and get a moose out of there. Obviously, like I said, you got to pay for it, but you don't want that situation. You don't want your meat spoiling. And honestly, then you just think about the overall, I guess, tasking effort that it is. Every time you stop that raft and make a new camp, you got to unload that meat off the raft. You got to, I mean, you can't just leave the meat.
Set up the bear fence, do all that stuff.
Yeah. Speaking of bear fence, we still got to get one of those.
I got it rented. We just got to pay all of our. Yeah, I ended up getting it with the raft.
Oh, nice.
From the same company.
Okay.
Yep.
I guess I didn't remember you saying that. Perfect.
Yeah, we just got to pay all of our final stuff within 30 days of going up. So.
Okay.
The remaining is due. Yep, remaining is due inside 30 days. Each boat's got 3 oars, frame, repair kit, pump, cargo net, and straps.
Perfect. Sweet. Yeah, that'll
Yep.
be. That's almost here.
I know, it's nuts.
Paid. We pay our pilots. I got to double check on our one pilot on when we got to pay him, but our one that's taking us the furthest back in there, I'll have a blank check with me, and then he'll calculate how many hours he had flown for us, and then add an hour for him to get back to his hangar, and then we'll write him a check for that, for the remaining amount there. So I already sent him $1,000 check.
Nice.
Have you done any like rough estimating of what you think this trip is going to cost?
I don't even want to know.
To be honest,
I'll figure that out when I get home.
To be honest with you, though, it's affordable for a moose hunt. Like, cancel.
It is.
Let's say you had all the gear. I mean, that's where some of my high dollars have come from. You know, buying new gear. I bought a new rifle because it was a good reason to buy a new rifle.
As if you're not going to use it after this trip.
Oh yeah, for sure. And my wife said a rifle's never a bad investment. So when you get the wife on board, you just buy the dang thing. But
that's right.
You know, if you take all the gear and extra stuff out of it, it's actually pretty affordable. Especially when you get a group of guys. Like you get 3 guys, obviously. It's going to make things a little bit more affordable as you're splitting planes and stuff like that, splitting raft costs. You would never go on a hunt like this by yourself anyways, but...
No, absolutely not.
You know, I mean, you're thousands of dollars, obviously, but we're not going to break 10 per person. I don't think...
Absolutely not.
If you took out all the gear purchases, we wouldn't touch 8.
No, I mean, the biggest thing that, I mean, may or may not be an expense, who knows, is taxidermy when we get home.
Sure. Yep, and that's one thing you don't think about or count up front. But, yeah, absolutely, your taxidermy is going to cost you. Getting meat back is going to cost us. We're shipping stuff up. That's going to cost us.
Yep.
Whatever we ship up has got to get shipped back.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the way to do it. I mean, 2 guys splitting it with 2 guys, I think would be more expensive. As weird as that sounds.
Yeah.
But when you split it with 3 guys, it helps. I mean, into the thousands of dollars, and brings the cost down. So I think 3 guys is the way to go. for sure.
I think, well, 2 guys, we'd still have to probably get the same planes that we're getting. Like, we'd still
Yeah.
have to, and basically what we found out is one pilot couldn't get us all the way in there, but it's so
Yep.
far from Anchorage that we didn't want that same pilot to make 3 trips, because then that would cost us even more.
Yep.
So
Yeah, that's the biggest expense is the pilots.
the bush pilots, without a doubt.
By far the biggest
Yeah.
expense.
Yeah.
Because the raft rental wasn't bad.
No.
Flights to Anchorage wasn't bad. I mean, all the gear that I've bought, I'll use well after Alaska.
Yep.
So yeah, it's an investment, but at the same time too, it'll pay off long term because I'll be able to use it for years to come.
And we'll be able to say we went to Alaska.
At our youth.
Yep, at our youth.
Prime youth.
I'll compare everything to it from here on out.
And it'll be
That's
Bryan's
right.
only mount in his living room.
I told my wife, I said, if I shoot one, it ain't going downstairs. This one's going upstairs.
Yeah. That new house that you guys are talking about, make sure there's some added vaulted ceilings for your future bull elk too.
Right? Future bull elk, big old moose. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
No, I'm super stoked. Like I said, absolute experience of a lifetime. I hope that I can do it multiple times in my lifetime, but just something that a lot of guys don't get to do, may never experience, always dream about. A lot of guys I've talked to tell me they've always dreamt about doing it, but they're into their 60s now and not looking like it's probably ever going to happen. And that's...
Yeah, like I was talking about with the physical inability, I can't imagine, being 55, 60 years old and having bad knees, bad back.
Yeah.
You would have to hire a guide at that point unless you were just some freak of nature.
And I don't know if you looked into any of that. That's like $23,000, $24,000 for a good one.
Yeah, the guy that the outfitter in the unit that we're going into, it was $20,500 for his all-inclusive trip, and that's 100.
Yeah. Yep.
So you're talking $60,000 for 3 guys to go use him. That's
insane.
Yeah.
When I can go for 5
less than 10.
Year. Yeah.
Yeah, 5 to 8. I think we'll land right in that 5 to 8 range.
I think so too. I think we'll be somewhere right in there. Totally agree.
Yep.
But any final things that you gotta snag up before we hit this thing?
No, Cole was texting me earlier today about some sales, and I said, I think I'm loaded with all of my gear. I don't have anything left. I just gotta get my waders here. That's the only thing that hasn't arrived at my house yet is my waders. So my boots, my everything.
Nice. Awesome.
I'm ready to rock.
Yep. That's what I got. I got that tarp on the way. Got some game bags on the way, and then those waders and.
Yeah, my camel fire package showed up today with my game bags. So
nice.
Yep.
Clutch. Mine's supposed to be here Wednesday, I think. So
nice.
Yep. And then figuring out food stuff, I guess.
Yeah, that's going to be the next task is just getting the stuff that we're shipping to Alaska so we don't have to pay for it on luggage.
Yep.
I think it'll be way cheaper to ship it up there. And it's been a blessing in disguise that these people are so willing and gracious to offer their vehicle and allow us to ship stuff to them. And
talk about a puzzle piece that most people have a really hard time finding. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Just the transportation once you get up there. What are you going to do? Are you going to rent a car? How are you going to get, anywhere? And
yeah.
Just having that is unreal.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
Yeah, that'll be nice. It'll be clutch for sure.
Yep, absolutely. Well.
But no, I appreciate you guys having me on, and hopefully mid-September, maybe we'll do another podcast over an archery elk hunt campfire and talk about our trip to Alaska.
Now that sounds like a good podcast. Except there we can maybe all be together and we can have a beer in our hands.
That's right.
'Cause you'll be post moose hunt, so you'll be able to have a beer. You'll have a beer. It'll be elk season. You won't be able to not have a beer.
You know, I made it through my birthday. I made it through my brother's birthday. Made it through several other normal beer drinking escapades, and I'm proud of myself.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
It's pretty amazing. It really is.
It's a long time.
It's not easy either. I don't care what anybody says.
5 months.
Yeah.
February 6th. It's over 5 months now.
Yeah, that's wild.
Crazy.
Good for you. That's sweet. But
Yep.
all right, well, Eric, you got anything else?
I don't think so. I was learning more by listening than actually talking.
Yeah,
How'd the screwball taste? You didn't have much to say.
I know, not bad.
mine was good and tastes a little bit better with a little carbon juice in it.
Little dog slobber.
I don't know how much he actually drank, but
He's probably laying down now. You don't know it.
He's passed out. So, yeah, no.
Awesome.
Eric's heard about most of it. We obviously work out every morning, and so he gets the insights on everything that's going on, really. So he's about as in tune to it and knows as much that's going on with it as any of us.
That's awesome.
But all right, well, thanks for joining us, Chad, and any of you out there, if you're watching this on the Seasons Media YouTube channel, make sure you smash that subscribe for us. If not, if you're just listening to us on a podcast, make sure you find us on YouTube. That's the Seasons Media. Follow us on Instagram at the Seasons Media, and keep an eye out as this amazing adventure takes place. And obviously, we're flying out. We'll be doing some social media updates on August 30th, and maybe very, very early on August 31st, but then we'll be off the grid until September 9th. We might come back to some service. Hopefully I can get my brother to, as I send some Zolio messages, log into Instagram and do some updates for everybody. But there will be no pictures because there will be no service, but we're excited for the adventure, and it's going to be one heck of a ride. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, everybody. And we're signing off for now. We'll catch you next time.